guy voice just to annoy a certain someone who is bound to continue overthinking in a disappointing manner. Everyone knows you get the accused side after you know the accuser's claims, so you're not one-sided in your observations. This is to prevent your personal perspectives on the matter from being compromised by preconceived bias. Greetings little mortals, I want to start by fully explaining the issue with my mic. It's not a serious issue if I was able to yell into the mic, but as I am in a situation where a more sensitive microphone is necessary, my hands are tied. I have spent the past few weeks trying hard to fix this issue and resolve the poor pickup on my microphones. This has been mostly unfruitful as the issue has persisted. It is not caused by the wear on the mics, more that the mics themselves just have poor pickup quality. That aside, let's cover why these woke franchises keep falling apart. At what point is this story lost? I think the loss has more to do with the core elements of the story than the story itself. Most of the stories told would be better if certain elements were added to aid in giving life to them. In some cases, pure propaganda elements that could be portrayed in a less hostile manner are better off removed. One big persisting issue is the lack of critique acceptance. If one were to wean out all the bad critiques, there would still be many good ones left behind. Instead of these being taken into consideration, they are discarded. Tracking back to the source of these problems reveals the bigger issue. By making the series part of activism and not entertainment, any value it had as entertainment is lost. This taint comes from employing activists, directors to make entertainment but not giving them the conditions of not putting their politics first. Of course, this would cause issues as most of these people are political bad actors and not serious about their jobs as directors. They are complacent so long as they can spread as much propaganda of their thing as possible. They are aided by bigger political bad actors in higher positions who support them with funds, and the old adage money talks rears its head. The downside to this is investors. People who invest in these entertainment companies expect returns. If an entertainment company focuses too much on propaganda and not entertainment, they forget how much money is made simply by producing content the general audience wants to consume. It is impossible to force people to pay for your product if your product is supposed to be entertainment. It is at this stage where the free market gives its warning that the content that is propaganda pandering is not received well enough to be sustainable. In current year we are seeing this more in Disney's new live action of The Little Mermaid, something that would be better had they made just a different new adaptation of the original. Yet even the context of the story could not save the countless issues with the live action movie, as it turns out. For a movie heavily reliant on visuals, the one thing you want on point and not muddy or distorting in any way, shape or form is the effects themselves. In this department, by focusing on the propaganda elements, the visual effects suffered. This was noticeable in the first released trailers for the movie. Numerous comments were blown off as racist for saying the colors were too dull and the lack of any vibrant hues was not a good look. This was after taking out the comments that black-facing a ginger character was getting old and condescending. Even to black people who felt they were just getting white people's leftovers. While the comments from the ethnic party the series is supposed to pander was humorous, it brought up a valid point. With this we managed to snag a wider look at a much deeper issue in Hollywood. There seems to be a disillusioned idea that ginger erasure is not happening, but every series that has had a recent reboot with a ginger character has seen them replaced with a over-embellished stereotype of a black character. It raises a question: what did gingers do to the big executives of Hollywood? This appears to be a loose end that remains unanswered. There is no value to removing gingers from films and pre-existing franchises. It seems like it's not just trying to ride on the coattails of prior successes. It comes off as a big effort to target gingers specifically when these franchises are rebooted. It's made obvious to a point where the main character is sometimes changed to focus more on the now race-swapped ginger character. Over the years, the idea of entertainment has left in favor for aggressive propaganda that is not received well due to the fact it's lined with hate and racism. And because of this we see the truth of why the ginger. A ginger is the whitest white example they have in their minds, a stereotype to gingers. It means this change in its root is done for the sake of being racist and no other reason. This is because in their activism they have already justified being racist to people they naively perceive as racist. This makes them all horrible hypocrites and not professional in the least. It is this lack of professionalism that is destroying the reboots and IPs, as there are cases where an original story has been okay to normal audiences, not indulged in a culture war. What separated these newer series apart from their reboot counterparts seems to be many things, but more notably they are not erasing white characters to pretend to add so-called equity. On the contrary, if you look at the series themselves, the originals seem to feel more true to the world they claim to be built from. There is a variety of people, cultures, and a whole world built into them. Those who have too much propaganda fall short to the ones that don't. So is it the woke, or the activism that is a issue? To tell this we would need a clear definition of what woke is, but since woke is used by the activists as a bludgeon, the likelihood of knowing what woke really is a shortfall of its own. So in order to find one problem, we found the reason was many, all stemming from one issue. The people running this having no good faith. Because of this, change is not likely to come because they do not desire to change their view on the world to reflect one that is more true to reality.